Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Fate Remnant Collide. So yeah, let's begin, shall we, ladies and gents? So, we would currently be going towards the perspective of that of Blake. We're still gonna be going into the whole, I guess you could say, Menagerie arc. Though it's gonna be a bit different due to some timeline changes, let's just say that. As we currently see now, Blake, with that of Tina and Son, as they're currently eating dinner with her parents. Together with Ilya, as Ilya is currently eating with the help of, would be eating with that of Archer. As while eating, well, her mother, Kali, would ask, "So Blake, what exactly happened during the fight? Specifically, during the whole, incident." As she would say, "Oh, about that. Well, you see," as before they can say anything else, they would hear a massive explosion. As they would say, "What the?" As when Ilya noticed heard the massive explosion, she would say, "Ah, shit, they're here," she would say. As after saying that, they would start leaving, or at least leaving towards the outside, and then they would see this. As we would see Adam, still in his pseudo-servant form, in this case Spartacus Saber. As Spartacus, or should I say Adam, would be rushing towards several Neo-White Fang members, as his army of, well, they're no longer called the White Fang. His faction is now known as the Black Claw. As he would say, "Go! Tear down these oppressors!" As after saying these words, several of his soldiers would appear. But they seem to be different. They're now wearing almost Roman-style armor, as their White Fang masks, which are usually just grim masks, I guess you could say, are now modified to resemble that of Roman gladiator armor. Let's just say it's thanks to the help of his noble Phantasm, as several of the soldiers are somehow even stronger than most Faunus, or in this case, some individuals or huntsmen in the RWBY universe. As they would seem to be almost bashing some of the Neo-White Fang members instantly, causing them to basically be, flying around the area. As while he's doing so, in the distance, we would see him. As we would currently see Tyrion. Tyrion would be laughing his ass off seeing the chaos, as he would say, "So much chaos! It's so wonderful. Now, Archer, show them terror," he would say, as he would command his servant. As Archer would be bringing out several arrows, as she would notch them onto her bow and would fire, each shot killing multiple men of the area, or more specifically, multiple men of the Neo-White Fang. As while this is happening, Blake would say, "What is going on?" As Ilya would, Ilya would say, "Damn it, too many servants. Too many soldiers from the too many soldiers from the Black Claw," she would say. As Blake would say, "Black Claw? What do you mean by that?" As she would say, "Well, apparently they defected, and they're now calling themselves the Black Claw. Honestly, why are they doing this? They just wanted equality, not this chaos." As she would look towards her servant, that of Atalanta, Archer. As she would say, "Atalanta, try and take care of the civilians." As she would say, "Very well, master." As she would move out, as at the same time, she would grab onto her scroll and start calling in, well, a certain someone. As Ilya would start contacting that of Sienna, as we would currently see Blake being terrified of the situation, Seeing so much death nearby, as several the Neo White Fang and also the Black Claw fighting each other, but the Black Claw seems to be much more in the upper hand, as their forces are much more stronger. As while seeing this, she would say, "We got to help." Tina. As she would look towards Tina and would say, "Tina, let's try and help at least." As she would say, "Yes, Master. I meant, yes, that seems about right, but I'm not exactly sure if I can help. My semblance, it doesn't really work in combat. I'm more into espionage. In fact, I prefer not to be in the spotlight all that much." I should say, "I don't care. You need to save everybody." As Sun would say, "Yeah, I do have to agree." As she would grab on both of her weapons. Specifically, the bow staff slash shotgun thing. I can't remember the exact name. As she would twirl it around and would start moving towards the main fight. In this case, an army of several soldiers. In this case, about half of the not white fang, more like the Black Claw forces. I meant. As while she would be moving out, Tina would say, "Fine, but I'll do support only," she would say, as she would start slithering around, due to her basically just having a snake tail instead of the regular, like, human legs. Or I guess you say humanoid legs. As Blake would say, "Guess I'll go on top of the roofs." As she would start jumping towards the roof area and would start moving. At the same time, meanwhile, we would currently see that of Shiena as she would get in contact with Ilya, as she would say, "So Adam's there. Damn it. Oh well, guess we have to use this then." As she would look towards Berserker, as she would say, "Berserker." As Berserker would be currently finishing up some experiment, as she would say, "Oh, what is it, Master?" As she would say, "Adam is there. You need to save the village now." As she would say, "Oh well. But at least we finish up the experiment. I've been wanting to test these out for a while." As she would be holding up some sort of gemstone, as she would say, "Then, let us begin." As they would start leaving it with the rest of the White Fang or the Neo White Fang forces. As while they were leaving, we would also see that of another person nearby. In this case, Watts. As Watts would be up in the trees, as you would say, "So they're going. Damn it. Too bad Castor's not here. Oh well. Guess I'll just have to get in contact with Tyrion of all people." As he would grab onto his scroll. As we would go back towards Menagerie. As we would currently see that of our boy. Or in this case, girl in this timeline. As Sun would be going across the streets of Menagerie, as she would start shooting off blast upon blast and bullet upon bullet upon the Black Fang. I meant Black Claw. As the Black Claw would be, well, somewhat injured, but most of them are pretty much okay. Probably due to the noble phantasm that's emitting from that of Adam. As she would say, "Dang it, what the hell is going on?" As one of the Black Claw members would say, "Thanks to Adam, we're practically immortal," he would say, as he seems to be growing back his limbs from getting shot. Surprisingly, he didn't have aura. As she would say, "What the hell is going on? Why are you..." As she would say, "It's thanks to this ability of his. I believe it's called Crying Warmonger or whatever. It allows him to basically regrow back limbs, but it also has a secondary effect. Anybody that comes into leadership with him, becomes a member of his army, his rebellion, and anybody is a part of his rebellion will share his ability too. As after hearing that, she would say, damn, terrifying ability. As she would activate her semblance. As after doing so, would summon in clones of herself and would start charging in towards that of the Black Claw members. As while doing so, she would not notice another member of the Black Claw. The Black Claw member would be wielding that of a massive sniper rifle, as he would say, sorry, comrade, but you're in our way. As before he can actually shoot them, a arrow would be shot towards his head, not making him fall down towards the ground and snapping his neck. Though it would not kill him, it will still be painful, as you would see that of Atalanta. As we would currently see Atalanta perching upon like a nearby ledge, as she would be shooting off arrow after arrow towards towards every single member that has a Black Claw insignia. As she would say, oh, poor souls. But unfortunately, I will not allow you to hurt any more children, she would say. As she would get ready her noble phantasm. As she would say, oh, I pray for both Apollo and of and that of Artemis. Bless these arrows and bring forth disaster towards my enemies. Phoebus catastrophe! As after saying these words, 2 arrows would be shot towards the sky. As then, multiple arrows would start coming from the sky, each of them glowing a beautiful ethereal light. As it launches towards the ground, killing multiple Black Claw members, each of them getting slain by each arrow. But due to crying warmonger, it will not be well too effective. As some of them would start regenerating from the attack. Well, most of them. Some of them did die, but most of them actually are alive. I should say, too many. As she would look towards the direction where Adam is, I should say, I need to defeat him immediately. As after saying these words, she would get ready her bow. As she would get ready another attack, but before she can, she gets attacked. As she would look towards the enemy that tried to attack her. In this case, Archer of Inferno, or at least I think that's what's her name in the, I guess you could say the, not Lost Belt, I meant the Epic of Remnant chapter. As she would be infused with the Madness Enhancement, as her eyes are completely blood red, almost bloodshot, as she would be just screaming and groaning, not even speaking a word, as she would fire off more and more arrows, as at the same time, she would replace her bow and arrow with that of a Naginata. Even though she's supposedly Archer, and surprisingly, she uses a freaking sword Naginata in the animations. Yeah, makes sense a lot, eh? Oh god, sometimes I wonder, yes, the Archer class is fully made of archers. Says the one that also allows, like, people that use freaking dolphins as ammunition. Yes. But either way, we would continue on, as she would be wielding that of Naginata and would start rushing towards Atalanta. Atalanta would dodge out of the way as before she can actually get in an attack in, she would be distracted by that of a certain someone. As they would be interrupted by Berserker as she arrives. As a flash of thunder would start sparking around her, as she would say, so, you're the enemy Berserker. Then, prepare to die, she would say. As after saying these words, we'll be ending off this episode right off here, guys. So yeah, bye-bye!